technology and knowledge. For ours, we're going to be doing a group discussion with you guys, and so we've laid down some ground rules. We would like you guys to not interrupt people, to stay under a minute with your responses for the time constraint, not to go off on tangents as much as possible, try to be respectful of other opinions, try not to repeat what others have said, and keep side chattering to a minimum or just be really whispery about it. If we do cut you off, we apologize if it comes off as rude, but we do have a time constraint, so let's get started. Okay, into the electronic millennium you guys have not read yet, so we would like you to read this summary. It is 2 slides, and it's about Birkerts' ideas of what technology will do to our society. Ready to move on? His 3 main points in his essay are right here.
Do we read this?
Yeah, go ahead and read.
Can you read it to us?
You could if you'd like. Language erosion, basically, as society evolves with technology, our language declines. Flattening of historical perspectives. The sense of the past decreases as well because we are more and more vague. And then the weakening of private self, we tell more and more about ourselves to more and more people, so we don't really keep things personal. Everything is pretty much open to the public. So here's our first question. Has language changed to become plain, speak, or simplified form of communication used to get the meaning across quickly that Birkert warned about? Consider the language you use when you're talking, texting, and posting on social media. Anybody want to take a shot at it?
Well, we use abbreviations more and we say less words, but I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing. I don't know if the dire consequences are really all that dire. I mean, people weren't ever so formal with their friends. I mean, that's just not a comfortable thing, and you want to be comfortable with your friends, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so first thing, if our language is, yes, getting simpler, like in texting and on social media, yeah, we definitely use shorter, simplified language to get the point across most of the time, but honestly, would we ever write volumes of emotional work on Facebook or something like that? No, we don't. Stuff like that. Talking to friends, maybe we do something like that, but since they know us and we know them, like, we get our point across quicker, they know what we're talking about in general, they know what we're talking about in general, stuff like that. So it's not necessarily a loss, it's just you have to know who your friends. If you're talking to someone you don't know, then you have to go a bit more in depth, a bit more formal, things like that.
What I would say is that since this was written in 1991, he did kind of predict the downfall of our language. We have simplified it, we've taken some meaning out, we're just trying to convey messages quickly, especially with texting and social media. I wouldn't say so with friends. Angel?
Abbreviated language has been around before, because Holloway said multiple times that when he was like writing notes for college that he had abbreviated things, like people would be PPL and other stuff like that. So it's been around before, but I guess it's just more popular now because of social media.
Okay, and my personal view on it is that verbally and electronically, yes, we have really simplified our language down, but when it comes to academics or writing books, it really hasn't affected us too much unless it's a personal narrative where you have a lot of dialogue going on. Another point is he wrote this before social media really took off, and he did predict it. Do you guys see that correlation or no? Betsy?
I think that adults have always they've tried to predict like certain patterns that happen, and they do. Like certain things will happen. Like he noticed that there were still computers back then, but he probably thought maybe they're going to be more popular then, and probably something will happen. So it's not like a new concept. He's just predicting a pattern.
Next question. Okay, so our next slide is questions to ponder. With reference to the word old, is our society becoming similar to that of the one in Brave New World? Hopefully all you guys remember that book. Anyone have an idea yet?
Okay, so I don't think we're becoming similar to Brave New World. Yeah, we do live for more of like having fun, that sort of thing, but we're not getting to the point where like we need those different social classes. Everybody still has a choice, that sort of thing. And that's what makes us human. We're still human. In Brave New World, no one is truly human in the new society, except maybe Bernard. Like he starts to realize his humanity, but that's what gets people thrown out. But here we all have our humanity still to a certain extent.
Okay. That answers that question. So do you guys think a Brave New World embodies what Birkert was speaking about? There is a flattening of historical perspective. Like they don't know history, so they don't question their society, and they just have the ignorance is bliss ideal, and they just don't care. So they have no idea for themselves what's right and wrong, and they have no perspectives.
But like we have history, but that doesn't mean that it's right. Like slavery back then, we know about slavery, but does that mean that we should do slavery again or repeat slavery?
Very true.
Well, I'm just saying that it impacts their society because they haven't learned that for themselves. They have never been even introduced to the idea. So if something were to go corrupt, they wouldn't know any better.
That's true.
You guys want to move on to the next question, or are there any more thoughts? Okay. Has our society changed in regards to privacy because of technology? My personal view on this is Facebook has a lot of your personal information. Some have phone numbers, emails, and then you post a lot of your personal thoughts, your relationship statuses. A lot of your life is posted online, and the general public does have access to it for the most part, unless you set this privacy all special. And blogs too. You post your thoughts on blogs, and pretty much anybody can read that as well. So our privacy, because of technology, has gone away.
I don't think society has changed that much in regards to privacy and technology because honestly, like, how many people like share their secrets openly on Facebook? Like, all of our stuff is like normal stuff you can get from us in daily life, like phone numbers, emails. Like, often we have to give that stuff anyway. It's not really something we really have control over, or like, well, we do have control over it to a certain extent, but it's not like something big. Like, you can choose like not to talk to somebody, that sort of thing. Like, you go on Facebook and like write your biggest secret and post it. Honestly, no.
But
Nobody does that. Privacy is not, we still have our privacy, just as a matter of choice.
That is true, but you do see fights and stuff on Facebook, and that should be kept personal. It's posted online for a lot of people to see.
Well, obviously that question is very opinionated because you could compare the opinions of one person who rarely goes on the internet or Facebook, and you could compare the opinion of another person who is very socially active online. And even though you might not share your secrets online, like personally, like a personal matter, you could share your emotions. For example, many of the things that you see on Facebook nowadays are like how a relationship broke up and how both parties are like talking how about the other, and even though it's no secret anymore, they're sharing their emotional feelings. So Facebook and other social medias are being used as an scapegoat.
With that, people do use Facebook and Twitter as kind of a diary, and I know people use blogs as an actual diary. They just change names. and it's not a majority of people, so how many of you guys would say that you post stuff on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram that you would not say in person? Is there anyone in here like that?
No, she's how many books?
No? See, it's not the majority, but there are people who just divulge everything on social media, which is particularly what that question is addressing. Does technology make our language more simplified? If so, does this limit our true knowledge or understanding of what is trying to be conveyed? Jack?
Okay, so yes, it does simplify our language, but this is only in relation to technology. So long as we still talk to each other in person, that doesn't necessarily limit our true knowledge or understanding what is trying to be conveyed. Because when you talk in person, you don't have to go into all that technical language, all the formal language, the specifics. You can, technology, it does simplify language, you can use abbreviations, that sort of thing. In talking to someone else, you don't necessarily have to use those. If you really want to get your point across, you still have to use normal words. You have to try to convey emotion, which we haven't really done with online technology, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Oh,
We
never.
have one more.
I say no, because abbreviations have been around forever, and people are just more dramatic about it
I
because
would
we have
say they're
technology.
used way more now though, because they were just
Oh.
used as more of a shorthand, but they weren't taking out meaning. But now they're more of OMG that takes out all the emotion. It's just, I'm pretty sure no one even gasped at that, and if you say LOL or ROFL, you're just like, okay. It was kind of funny. My view on this is that when we use more vague language, we're not really getting the details across to people. We're losing some of the important facts that could be needed to be told, but you just don't have the time and you want to be quicker with people.
Well, if you go more business-oriented emails, there's still personal letters that you can take longer times to. Language hasn't been simplified in historical text, online text, but it's only between people. So technology hasn't simplified it in a lot of areas.
Okay.